Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to get the cab prep to pull off of the frame. So I'm gonna pull all the wiring off, all the fuel lines, brake lines from the master, as well as all the lines from the engine bay going back. And then once those are all free, we can pull this cab off. All right, the frame setup's rolled out, and this is about what ride height's gonna be once this build is done. It's kind of cool to see that. This thing's been a little bit of a monster truck the whole time, climbing up and down it. But now, since the cab is basically just sitting here on the lift, we need to get everything cleaned up and prepped to accept the new drivetrain, as well as all the link stuff, and get everything set up ready for the new frame rails. So that means getting this wiring stripped out, because we're not going to be using any of this. This is going to be cut down to right to the firewall, so pretty much here. So we'll cut that down, get everything prepped and ready. And then with the boat sides, once the frame rails are done, we'll have to do the runners into them. So we have all this stuff hanging down that's for the body mounts. So we got to cut all that off, clean all that up, and then we welded the inside out. There's a little bit of overlap here that we got to clean up and smooth out. So lots of cleanup to do, and then we will probably end up pulling all this sound deadening out just to make it easy to work with. I'm gonna have to build seat mounts and stuff like that. The current seat mounts would work, but since we're doing a pretty much full buggy with this, that's just not really my style. I want to make something that's super secure. So probably gonna end up stripping this down so we can work with it, as well as just to lose a little bit of weight since we don't need the sound deadening. So let's get to work. This one also will not be running a windshield. We could design it to run a windshield, but it would break in a matter of time with doing buggy type stuff anyways. And this cowl is removable like all the second gen pickups first gens are. So we're gonna remove all the windshield motor and components, and hoping that we can take through this area here, the intrusion bar, and then drop it through in. That way we can keep it nice and clean and not up here or in the cab, since we're gonna try to keep as much factory dash and whatnot as possible. So that'll be kind of a cool little challenge to get that all bent up in there, since it's not a super easy straight tube or a rolled tube. It's gonna have some bends in it, but it'll look super cool and super clean. Here is the rolled out frame. You can tell it's like up to the doors on my truck, so pretty tall belly height and whatnot. It'll be closer to that when it's done. So going to have to pull the axles out, strip them down, and get them prepped for the new frame setup, but we want to get the frame on here first. So like I said, we'll start with the lower frame rails and the front frame rails, then we'll do the rear, and that way we can kind of start mocking up the engine, transmission, transfer case, as well as the axles. All right, so we got the clutch setup all removed, as well as the wiring all pushed into the cab. This is going to be an automatic, so we don't need the clutch. And we got this side floor stripped down. We got to get the other side stripped down still. And then we'll lift it back up and get underneath cleaned up. I already did a little bit, but we got a lot of cleaning to do to get this thing prepped up. All right, got this side started. Yes, I know about doing dry ice, but I don't have any, and that only took about 1.5 to 2 minutes to get all that off. So I'm gonna work all this off and get the cab all cleaned up. All right, got all the sound editing out of this side too. The floor and tunnel may need to be modified to fit the Atlas as well as the transmission. So I left the tunnel, and some of this might get cut up, but we're gonna try to keep as much as possible stock floor on this build. We'll see how that goes. But either way, let's get this thing up in the air and get the bottom cleaned up. And then once the bottom is prepped, we can finish out stripping things down. All right, so I already came through, pulled all the heat shields and everything off. This is what I'm talking about cleanup. So I already cut off the little supports here that were for the body mounts, and then shaved the body mount area down. So we're gonna clean all that up. And then there's a little bit of overlap in some of these spots from when I set that inner panel in. So it's all welded on the inside, so we're just gonna clean this all and make it nice and smooth. Got that all cleaned up. Got the other side real quick, and then down here. All right, got both sides underneath cleaned up. Let's get the dash stripped down so we can pull all the harness out. Got this thing completely torn down of all the parts over here and up front. We're going to set all this aside, that way as we're building, if we have to cut the firewall or tunnel or anything like that, we don't have to worry about anything catching on fire or being in the way. So that's pretty much everything that is needed for teardown. I'm going to clean this stuff up, then we can get to building some things. Thanks for watching.